So there's a skill in the data analytics and statistics space that not a lot of people talk about, and you definitely aren't explicitly taught it in school. However, it is so important for any data analyst, any statistician, and any data scientist to know. However, before I tell you what that skill is, there are two reasons that this is so important. First, it provides action. And why that's so important is because you do your analysis, you do your whole project, you make a dashboard. However, if it does not make people take action, then it's totally not worth it. And the second thing is it provides understanding. For people who aren't experienced in data analytics, who aren't experienced in statistics, they need a certain level of understanding about data, about analysis, about why it's important, and about why it's significant. And so what is this skill, you ask? If you haven't figured it out already, it's communication. Now, for communication, there are 4 key points that I have down that are important to keep in mind anytime you're going through communication. And if you stick around until the end of this video, I'm going to go over a bad example and a good example of communication as it applies to statistics, so be sure to stick around. So the first point is clear insights. And what I mean by clear insights is if after you do your whole project, after you do your analysis, after you get your findings, and you are ready to present that to your manager or your stakeholders or whoever it's going to be. Clear insights just take your findings and make them in a more presentable manner. You need to be able to speak the words or write the words or show in a dashboard what those insights are and then get it exactly in front of their face and explain it in a way that makes sense, for one, and second of all, is completely factual. Because there's a difference between dumbing something down so much that people can understand it easily, but also losing a lot of information, and important and vital information. So you need to be able to dumb it down in a way that people can understand it, but they're also retaining all of the value and all that statistical analysis that you did. Alright, the second key point is going to be providing counterexamples. Now, this is something that's done in an observational setting, meaning you can't assign causation to one thing. Your managers or the executives or whoever you're presenting to is going to want to know some alternative reasons that something could be happening. And if that's not on the forefront of their mind, you need to make it the forefront of their mind. Say, even though this is what the data shows or the trends show, there is a slight difference in the averages between these two groups, for example. You want to provide counterexamples saying this could be for a variety of reasons. It could be because this one has a smaller sample size. It could be that this one is a newer program and hasn't had enough time to run there and test. You need to provide reasons why your data could be lying to you. And the third thing is providing your statistical evidence for your reasoning. Not only do you want to say something is true, but you want to provide the reason why it's true statistically, because that is what a good statistician does, and that really should be something that's on the front of data analysts' minds as well. Just because a visualization shows something does not necessarily mean that there's a true difference, or does not necessarily mean that there's statistical significance in that finding. So always do your due diligence and try to keep that in mind when you're communicating with your managers. And the fourth and final key to good communication in data analytics and statistics is providing where your data came from and whether or not it's factual. You can do all kinds of great analysis, but if you're working with bad data, what's the point? Provide where you got the data from, is it factual, what are the sources, and give that in a clear, concise way that people can understand. So now you know the 4 key points to good communication as it pertains to statistics and data analytics. But let's see what a bad example and what a good example could look like for communication in that setting. Alright, so here's the outline of a situation. You're a data analytics expert for an ad agency company. They ran 2 ads, one in Pittsburgh and one in Philadelphia, and they want to see which one was better. I'm going to do the bad example first, and then comment down below what you think I did wrong before I do the good example. So after doing all of your analysis, you find that your average ad conversion rate is slightly higher in Pittsburgh than it is in Philadelphia. Here's the bad example. Alright, and then I put all of the data into this bar chart that shows that the average conversion rate for Pittsburgh is 5% higher than Philadelphia. Seeing how the conversion rate in Pittsburgh is actually higher than our average conversion rate for our company, I think we should continue the ad campaign in Pittsburgh, but I think we should kill it in Philadelphia. Comment below what you think I did bad there, because it might not be immediately apparent to somebody who doesn't really know statistics. But now let's finish it off with a good example. So upon my initial exploratory data analysis, I wanted to see what the overall average was for each Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. Initially, we saw that the ad conversion rate for Pittsburgh was 5% higher than Philadelphia's overall. I also want to point out that we only ran 20 cases of this in both Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. So I think we should definitely run some more to get more of a sample size so that that t-test can actually give us significant results. Now, I definitely could have fudged something up there because it was just a made-up example I made in my head, but now you're kind of getting the picture. You need to understand You need to give a little bit of a more holistic view for your manager or your stakeholder, and you also need to provide statistical reasoning for why you're deciding to do what you do. So in our example, we did a two-sample t-test to see whether those means are actually different or the same. And that's important for our company in our example because if those ad conversion rates are statistically the same for both Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, that's definitely going to be something that your managers are going to want to know, especially if you're going to be continuing that ad campaign. So I hope you're starting to see what good communication looks like for analytics and statistics majors. However, if you actually want to work as a data analyst in real life, check out this video next because I go over exactly how I got my job as a data analyst. See you there.